I'm sure many people watching this will agree, and if you look at myths and legends, Britain is full of them. Myths, legends, magic, other realms, the underworld, fairy. It's a big part of the British Isles. Well, hello. Thanks for joining me. I've got a bit of a dilemma. It's not a walk today. It's a dilemma. And I think this is an appropriate place to talk about it. Now, this is unplanned, as are pretty much most of my videos. I was hoping to sit down on something, but I can't. Oh, wait. Oh, there we go. Ooh, that's lovely. So, I have a dilemma. Because I've noticed, you see, we see holes in trees, or we see ancient trees, we see faces in trees, we see fungus, and we think of other beings, fairy, other worlds, other elementals, other creatures of nature, beings of nature, you know, even in flowers, bluebells for example, they're a classic one. And our land, Britain, is littered with them, okay? So you don't have to go far to see anything. They're in hedgerows, they're in all kinds of places. Now recently, there has been well, it seems like I go almost now everywhere I go, and I've been going to places, some of these places, for many, many years, over 50 years, okay? And in the last year, basically 2022, I started seeing wild nature having had human things left there, more specifically fairy houses. Now, they're already there. They're not living in bits of plastic or some house that you paint out of a bit of dead wood. The spirits of nature, and they are in the living nature, right? We don't need to go and put an effigy of these spirits that don't even look like these spirits to remember them. Now, the reason I say I'm torn is because I don't have a problem with honouring the earth, and in a domestic situation having altars and things, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I've got loads, okay? And I have special altars that I set up in nature that you wouldn't know were altars, okay? Because I've hidden it. Because if it was someone else, I mean, I don't want to go and see someone else's stuff in nature, in wild nature. But there's a kind of ego associated there, isn't there? In that people think, oh, we're going to take our stuff, we're honouring the tree, and then they leave it, or the burial mound, or whatever it is, and they leave it there. And very often it's left, because I've been back to places and the same things are still there in states of decay. So I'm asking people to not do it. It's fair enough going out, taking some stuff, setting up an altar, doing a ritual. I don't have a problem with that. Honouring the earth and then taking it away when you go. Now, I have spent a lot of time in doing meditations and visualizations and going into fairy. I've done a lot of that in the past. and now it seems to happen when I'm in places like this. And what they don't like is bits of plastic being shoved in places. If that's not going to deter them, signs of humans, I don't know what is. I mean, because in another video I speak about this, but the fairies are angry because of what we've done to the earth, and this is why this is an appropriate place that I'm doing this. Now, I can get to really quite dodgy places, and I seem to be welcomed. I feel welcomed. I'll have birds come and sit by me, or animals will just wander past. Even other people, if they go near, they don't tend to see me. But what this thing is, where people go and they leave stuff in nature, I mean, there is a really awful one, which I will come to in a moment if I remember, but I'll remember. I've now forgotten what I was going to say, but it's leaving of plastic and non-biodegradables and stuff, just leaving stuff. I mean, here we are in a place that's been dug, okay, and nature's reclaiming it, and I go, oh wow, this is beautiful, but part of me is going, yeah, but it didn't need to be like this. We've dug it out, we've made it this way, you know. Buzzard, I told you, they come over, they do seem to appreciate my visits. The buzzards don't seem to be bothered, but I see them often where I go. But it seems to me that the internet is part of the problem, because people are going, oh, we put this in there and take a picture, and you know, I got 500 likes, or you know, oh, that's great, oh, and then other people are going, oh, I want to do that, oh, I'm going to go and do that, and very soon nature's going to be ruined, because what's happening is ego is coming into it, and people are putting their stuff here. Well, this is for everybody, okay? Like King Arthur, when he campaigned for access to Stonehenge, he campaigned for access for everybody, but I may come on that on another video. He refused to go in and campaigned for everyone to go in. He didn't want special privileges, which is what it's about. This is for everyone. So no one wants to come here and see my stuff, however nice it might be to them. Now the biggest problem, I mean, we're being stopped from going to nature places. I'm seeing it quite regularly now. Permissive access is being withdrawn, and we're being put into very narrow corridors. Now, one of the saddest things, and this is very relevant because it happened in Dartmoor, is that some man or group of men, and possibly women, but sorry, I've got a higher opinion of women than I do of men. They've gone into nature, they've seen this beautiful rock covered in moss that's taken a long time to get there, and what they've done is they've gone, oh, I'll put my ego on it, I'll scrape it off so that everyone who comes and visits this lovely, very ancient, unique forest will see what I've done. Now, if there's someone who doesn't want you to do it, then you shouldn't do it. And I certainly don't want that. I don't want to go there and see that. I'd like to be able to speak proper English, but you know, I've been to that wood before any stuff was left. And before I had any camera skills. So apologies for the suboptimal footage, but let's enjoy 2.5 minutes of this rare, unique and very small example of this kind of wood. Strewn boulders covered with lichens, moss and rare plants, even fungus. The trees covered in lichens, moss, fungi and epiphytes. The gnarled shapes within these ancient trees. Beautiful. An atmosphere that's unique. It really is a witchy wood, isn't it? And note the way that it sort of blends into the landscape. But not anymore, because now there's fences around it. Due to the stupid, mindless, selfish actions of disrespectful idiots, this place is no longer accessible and has been fenced off, thus ruining the magic of the place, but ensuring its welfare and protection to a greater degree. There's a fashion for going to certain trees in Avebury that are becoming more and more eroded and tying ribbon all over them and putting other poppets and various charms and things on these trees in non-biodegradable things. You know, satin, it takes a long time to biodegrade, it really does. Cotton is not so bad, but you know, it's still being tied tightly round a tree, and the tree grows and expands. And you know, if you tie something tightly around your finger, you know, try putting a ring on that's very tight, and then see what happens when your hands swell up. It's hard to get off. And the tree just looks horrible. It looks like a mess. It's lovely to start with, nice in colours, but that's my point. Put them on, leave them for a bit, take them off. It's like people going, oh, let's have a party here. Coming here, leaving all the cans and rubbish and going home and never coming back to clear it up again. See, leave no trace, to me, is leave no trace. And it's a basic rule of nature that we've done enough damage, okay? It's about time we stopped doing it. It's about time we left it alone. It's about time we respected it and just let it be, and just keep everything to a minimum that we do on it. You know, as you'll see in lots of my videos, I don't have a problem with fairies, elemental spirits. I don't have a problem with honouring the earth at all. You know, I've come here, I do it myself. I've come here. But no one wants to see other people's stuff shoved in little nooks of a tree that then grows over and encloses it. You know, I mean, I liken it to well, what if you were to do it to humans, you know, like carving initials into a tree? Well, what if someone comes to you, the tree hasn't gone, yeah, carve me. You know, what if someone comes and carves my arm, you know? Then we're looking at certain other things that may have happened in certain other things that happened in history last century. Consent is a word. Consent. Well, nature doesn't really consent, it just has to put up with it. Because the other thing, and I've spoken about this before, is that if you're a pagan, you don't think you've got dominion over the earth, unlike Christians. So we respect it, we have to. You know, most pagans are probably vegan, even though that's a difficult thing now. You know, it's getting worse and worse. Sorry, I'm digressing. So there was lots of other things going on that you know, need to be stopped. I mean, I don't mind having, well, you know, I know some of these places have been like changed by man, but I don't see that continuing the process of doing something that it hasn't asked for is right. So I have this dilemma, but I do think if it's domestic, you've got your own patch of garden in your house or whatever, that's fine. You know, a tree in your garden, that's fine. But it's in wild nature, and it's almost like people are scared of wild nature, so they've had to tame it. And I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, people are scared of fairies because they're putting a human vision of what they think fairies look like and are onto it. So is there fear there? I don't know, but it's something that occurred to me. People are scared of wild nature. There's a lot of places people won't go. You know, going out to the woods on your own in the dark, well, it is a risky thing to do and very scary, but your senses come alive. But people are scared to do that. People are scared to come into nature. And if nature is that unhappy with what we're doing to it, then I'm not surprised. Anyway, I welcome your thoughts. You know, I know so many people who complain, like the wishing trees at Avebury. I mean, many locals aren't happy that that's been done, and it's only been happening in the last 10 or so years that it's got this bad. And I've got photographs, and I didn't have a camera 10 years ago, so I've got photographs of how bad the erosion on the roots has got in 10 years. And I've known those trees, which I'll put a picture of here. I've known those trees since I was a child, you know, tiny, in single figures, because I lived and grew up down the road from there, or up the road, depending on which way you're going. But they do get cleared every so often, but you know, it's a massive job by looking at the amount of stuff that's on there. I mean, I myself tied something on there, but I did it without going onto the roots, and then I took it away again afterwards. Because part of the problem is magic, right? Because if you do a spell, and part of the thing is you leave it in the earth, yeah? And the earth breaks it down, and when it's broken down, the spell is complete, or, you know, is almost unbreakable. But I'll come on to magic and another point, because I have some thoughts that you might find very interesting. Talk about interfering with nature, okay? Now look at this. This tree is dead. Well, it wasn't, but let's look at what's here. Oh, look. That's been there for some time. And look what's happened to the tree. Could just be coincidental, but as we know, there aren't any. Okay, well, something that saddens me, and I've been feeling this as I've been coming here more recently and over the past sort of, I suppose, 15 years or so, there is, the energy is becoming, well, I don't know, there's some nice energy, there's some really good energy, but there's also some very dark energy here. There's some very sinister energy, and I don't like it. And I mean, I almost ran through Avebury today because I didn't want to be near it. That's how bad it is. I don't know if anyone else can feel that, or if it's just us local people, because I know lots of local people who feel exactly how I do about it. People who've grown up around here, you know. So I don't know. So every so often I come and clear, and there's only so much I can do because, you know, I'm just one person, so I just do little bits. So if anyone else wants to join me in doing it, there's a whole load of places that need clearing. If you saw, the wishing trees get cleared regularly. You may have seen, if you haven't seen in my Avebury video, I'll pop a clip now, and they get taken off every year, which is great. That's what should happen. But if you're doing magic properly and doing things like that, if you're going to tie something for a purpose, you need to leave it for it to be tied forever. For example, if you want, you know, for a wedding or a marriage, things like that, you need that tied together, and then it can decay or not. You know, if you tie two hairs together, they won't decay, will they? So, or they will do eventually, but it'll take a long time. So really be careful about what you do. So, and then, like I was saying, I've been called to come here today, and I don't know why. I mean, I couldn't wait to get here. The track, I just wanted to be here, and now I am. It's like, wow! And now I am. Now I am. I've dropped bits of tree bark in my coffee. Oh well, never mind. So yeah, I mean, you know, people do have a romantic association with lots of places like this, but I tend to come across all the darker sides, not because I'm looking for it, but because I can feel it. There's also the positive side, of course, but the positive side, you don't need to deal with that, do you? Things that are easy, you don't have to worry about them, you don't have to struggle. But the harder bits, the difficult bits, they're the things that need sorting out. So, you know, I've taken it upon myself to clear it into a neutral zone. Sometimes I won't go near things. There are things, and I can tell you for sure, because I know from certain people that there are some really dodgy stuff that go on here. And when I say here, I mean Avebury. On the way here, a thrush just glided across, did a sort of diagonal across the front of my van on the way there. I find a lot of birds do that, but so slowly that they were just there with me. That was really nice. So I've come to clear, but you know, there are people who do dodgy magic. So if you're places and you see something that feels weird, or say for example, and this is something that I've experienced, say you find a black wooden carved female figure upside down in a crevice, that kind of thing, don't touch it. Just don't touch it. Unless you really know what you're doing and you can really cleanse yourself afterwards, because you can pick up really subtle things however well you can clear it. So you know, you have to kind of do it properly, because a lot of these things, they've got serious intent behind them, and serious emotions, strong emotions sometimes. So you really do have to be careful. So there's a warning, but that's why I'm here. That's why I've come here. I was going to go to another place that's over there called the Devil's Den. You know, they're all associated with the devil. That's so I don't like calling any place that's got the name the devil. I'm not going to call it that, because the devil is a Christian derogatory term. That's what it is, basically. And as pagans, we accept the dark and the light within us. And some's more extreme than others, isn't it? You know, you could say certain people are evil because of what they do, and that's still their darkness. That's like the extreme darkness that they're dealing with, where the lovers turn to not hate, because hate isn't the opposite of love, is it? It's their love has turned to anti-love. I don't know. I really don't know. It's a complex issue, isn't it? But I try and keep these things simple. I just wanted to say that for like budding witches and people who are interested in magic and stuff, that these things do go on. I also would like to say that I've noticed there's a generation that I'm in who seem to be doing a lot of this through our life in various forms. It's really quite interesting. Obviously not everybody in that generation or anything, but there are certain people that seem to do this. Well, let's have a look up here then. This is steep for sure. Now there's a little path that goes through there. I've just swallowed a fly. This might be too much. And too wet. So there is somewhere. There is a reason for coming here. Excuse me. And that is across here. Hopefully we can get to it. Looks like something has got to it before me. Don't know what that would be. Because maybe I should have come before and filmed it, but hey ho, I didn't. I had no idea it was going to be this steep though. It doesn't look it, but it's wet and crumbly. This is the only way across. I mean, someone's got up there, hasn't they? Wow. Ooh. What is this? That's looking like a bit of nature damage here. Nature vandalism, look. More of it. Fucking hell. Stop doing it, whoever you are. Hey, look at that, defacing a tree. Next I'll be going on about being pagan and nature lovers. It was like the paint they used. I'm disgusted. Another bit of nature ruined. Yeah, and there's one on the other side as well. So what I know is that whoever does this is in my area. And if they're watching this, they know who I am. Now if I was put my mind to it, I could find them. Well, on my screen that doesn't show up, but I bet it does. I can't believe it. This would have been a nice little thing to go and see. Imagination will put the eyes in, won't it? Don't need some man, and it is a man, it's not a woman doing that, is it? Now for me, they've ruined that tree. And damaged as it is, that's damage and deformity. But having someone paint some eyes on it, it's not necessary. I'm seeing this more and more. I know of one wood with hundreds of plastic figures in almost every tree hole and crevice. It's disgusting and vile, not to mention polluting. And I mean, they're awful, honestly. They're not even nice. Yeah, not good. It's a living tree. If you do stuff like that, stop it. Keep nature wild, not full of ego. Male ego. Anyway, thanks for watching, and enjoy the fairies, respect them and nature, and don't take. Give rather than take. I know many people watching this will do that anyway, so thanks for watching. Ta-ra.